In a shocking twist that no one saw coming, two of Hollywood's most beloved stars, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, are now at the center of a heated legal battle. Known for their uplifting social media presence, charitable work, and roles as modern-day role models, this clash has left fans stunned. What could have possibly driven these two icons of positivity to such a dramatic confrontation? The answer is more complicated and controversial than you might think.
Baldoni and Blake Lively, it is heating up. It is not ending. Baldoni now reportedly set to take legal action against Lively.
Sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
What began as a rumored private disagreement between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni quickly snowballed into a situation far graver than anyone could have foreseen. Reports indicate that Lively challenged Baldoni in a fiery exchange that spiraled out of hand. Though the specifics remain murky, insiders claim the clash intensified to the point of requiring police intervention. The breaking point came when authorities arrived, leading to Lively's arrest, an outcome that stunned onlookers. The news hit Hollywood like a thunderbolt, leaving fans and industry peers alike struggling to make sense of it. Blake Lively, celebrated for her glowing charisma, sharp humor, and endearing online presence, has long embodied a blend of positivity and relatability. From her unforgettable portrayal of Serena van der Woodsen in Gossip Girl to her witty, heartfelt glimpses into motherhood and marriage, she's crafted an image that seamlessly marries stardom with authenticity. That's precisely why this incident feels so disorienting. The notion of Lively, often hailed as a pillar of poise and levity, being tangled in a dispute severe enough to end in handcuffs is almost unthinkable for many. It stands in stark opposition to the persona she's nurtured, one marked by playfulness, kindness, and an uncanny ability to spin everyday moments into something charmingly relatable. The episode has sparked a wave of questions among fans. How could someone so admired for her warmth and wit end up in such a storm? Some point to the relentless pressures of fame and the unending public gaze as possible factors, while others suspect there's a deeper, untold layer to the saga. What's undeniable is that this moment has cracked the polished veneer Lively has long upheld, exposing a side of her rarely glimpsed by the world. For Justin Baldoni, the repercussions have been just as seismic. Known for his composed nature and his outspoken championing of compassion and emotional openness, he now faces the chaos of a widely scrutinized legal fight. The incident has upended his professional world and thrust him into an emotionally taxing spotlight he likely never anticipated. As more details trickle out, one truth stands firm. This clash has reshaped how both stars are perceived. It's a sobering lesson that even those who appear unflappable can stumble into moments of turmoil, and that the boundary between public image and private struggles is often razor thin. For Lively, the arrest marks a jarring detour from the sunny reputation she's cultivated, leaving fans curious about how she'll weather the fallout and whether she'll confront the claims head-on. For now, Hollywood remains in a state of shock, wrestling with the unsettling reality that even its brightest stars aren't shielded from controversy. As the narrative continues to unfold, it underscores a deeper truth. Beneath every polished exterior lies a complex individual capable of both brilliance and imperfection, just like anyone else.
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us that make us human. That's it. It's very simple.
Following the dramatic clash, Justin Baldoni made a bold move that caught fans and industry insiders off guard. He filed a lawsuit against Blake Lively. Recently uncovered court documents lay bare the profound impact this ordeal has had on him. The legal action goes beyond mere monetary claims. It's a heartfelt call for closure in what he portrays as a deeply wounding personal conflict. The filing details Baldoni's pursuit of justice for a range of grievances, from emotional strain to reputational harm and major setbacks in his career. Per the documents, the incident's aftermath has derailed his current projects, charitable endeavors, and the public persona he's carefully built. an invaluable currency in a field driven by image. Known for his steady, compassionate nature, Baldoni stressed in the filing that he exhausted every private resolution option before turning to the court. This step has sparked intense discussion. Supporters contend it's a justified effort to safeguard his mental health and livelihood, particularly in a world where perception can make or break you. They highlight the steep personal and professional price he's paid as reason enough for legal action. Critics, however, wonder if it's an excessive response, proposing that a quieter, behind-the-scenes fix might have sufficed. The lawsuit scope adds another layer. It's not solely about pointing fingers, but about drawing lines in the sand. The documents hint that Baldoni sees this as a means to establish mutual respect and accountability, aiming to prevent future fallout. This deliberate stance echoes the principles he's long stood for: openness, vulnerability, and constructive dialogue. Still, dragging this dispute into the courtroom has transformed its trajectory. What started as a hushed disagreement has ballooned into a headline-grabbing drama, with fans and outlets pouring over every twist. The case also prompts bigger questions about its ripple effects. Will this legal tussle leave lasting marks on their polished reputations? And how might it reshape their prospects for working together or apart down the line? One thing is certain: as the proceedings roll forward, Baldoni's choice to sue signals a pivotal shift in this unfolding story. Whether viewed as a vital stand for his dignity or an escalation of a private rift, it's a decision that set tongues wagging across the entertainment landscape and left everyone guessing about what's next.
So it's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
What could have triggered such a striking rift between two figures long celebrated for their warmth and teamwork? The explanation isn't clear-cut, but whispers suggest a tangled mix of elements that may have strained their bond to its limit. One possibility hinges on creative clashes. Beyond acting, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are both producers and vocal champions of projects they hold dear. Lively, with her keen intellect and artistic flair, has dipped into various entrepreneurial and creative pursuits, while Baldoni has earned acclaim as a director and a storyteller dedicated to empathy and societal good. With such forceful personalities and bold visions, it's conceivable that their professional orbits crash, igniting friction. A shared passion project could have morphed into a tug-of-war over differing approaches, unraveling their ability to see eye to eye. Another theory ties the tension to their parallel charitable pursuits. Both are fervent advocates for causes like children's well-being, environmental care, and community upliftment. While these common interests might promise harmony, they could just as easily breed discord. Divergent ideas on how to tackle these missions, disputes over resources, or even contrasting styles of showcasing their work might have quietly festered. When two prominent voices pour so much into overlapping goals, an unspoken rivalry, however accidental, can sometimes spark trouble. There's also the chance that a personal rift grew too big to mend. Publicly, Lively and Baldoni radiate charm and accessibility, but privately, they're human, complete with feelings, pride, and flaws. A small offhand spat could have ballooned if ignored, especially under the weight of their high-stakes lives and relentless public attention. What might have started as a petty squabble could have morphed into a major standoff when fueled by stress and scrutiny. Complicating things further, hints suggest this wasn't a sudden flare-up, but the tipping point of a slow burn. Insiders imply that simmering grievances, perhaps stretching back months or even years, finally boiled over. Be it professional competition, personal missteps, or a blend of the two, that climactic moment seems to have unleashed a flood of pent-up strain. The real root of their divide remains cloaked in uncertainty, with both sides keeping mum on the detail. Still, it's evident this clash runs deeper than it first appears. It's a cue that even those who radiate goodwill and unity can hit rough patches that test their ties, and that the glare of fame can sometimes amplify quiet struggles into loud spectacles. As onlookers were left piecing it together, was it a collision of egos, a drift in principles, or just two driven souls hitting a wall? Whatever sparked it, this tale lays bare the messy layers of human connection. Even for those who seem to glide through life effortlessly.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and
wasn't doing very well, and I was one of 2 people maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something wrong.
Yeah, no.
And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
The fallout has left supporters of both stars reeling, grappling to understand what's happened. Online platforms are awash with stunned reactions as fans wrestle with how 2 people famed for their upbeat spirits could land in such a visible feud. The press, ever eager, has jumped on the drama, churning out bold headlines that spotlight the jarring gap between their wholesome images and the messy reality now spilling out. For a lot of folks, this uproar drives home a tough truth. Even the most revered icons aren't above a tangle or 2.
Blake Lively accused It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni of harassment and retaliation. Lively's complaint accuses Baldoni, who is also the film's director, of creating a hostile work environment and trying to ruin her reputation after she expressed her concerns.
The clash between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni isn't just a personal spat, it's a career-shaking tremor with the potential to echo for years. Both are at critical junctures, juggling active film gigs, big money endorsements, and prominent charitable work. This showdown could jolt not only their own paths, but also the web of partners, brands, and causes banking on their shine. For Lively, the stakes couldn't be steeper. A versatile actress and sharp entrepreneur, she sculpted a career mixing major movies, business ventures, and do-good efforts. Ties to heavyweights like Chanel and roles in hits like A Simple Favor and The Rhythm Section have cemented her as a Hollywood force. But this mess risks dimming her glow, with companies and studios possibly rethinking their bets on her. In a game where image is king, even a whiff of trouble can slam doors shut and fray ties. Baldoni's in a similar bind. Known as an actor, director, and thoughtful advocate, he's carved out a niche as a soulful industry voice. His turns in Jane the Virgin and directing gigs like 5 Feet Apart and Clouds have won him praise and a devoted crowd. Off-screen, his push for gender equality and emotional openness has made him a standout. Yet this legal tangle could rattle his footing, especially if it's seen as pulling focus from his purpose-driven projects. Hollywood watchers are buzzing about what's next. Will studios and sponsors back off, worried the drama could taint their ventures? Or will they stick it out, banking on Lively and Baldoni to ride out the chaos? The outcome might hinge on how the courtroom plays out and how they steer the story in the months ahead. A big worry is the hit to their charity work. Both pour heart into causes that lean on their clout. Lively with groups like the Child Rescue Coalition, Baldoni with LA's Skid Row community. If this uproar steals spotlight from those efforts or dents their trustworthiness, it could ripple out to the people they're trying to help. Everyone's asking, can Lively and Baldoni bounce back? Hollywood's track record is a mixed bag. Ruthless one minute, forgiving the next, depending on how the fallout's handled. If they tackle this with poise, own up where it counts, and zero in on their craft and principles, they might sway the tide. But if the fight drags or gets uglier, it could scar their careers for good. At its core, this legal scrap is a gut check for both. It's proof that even Tinseltown's brightest aren't bulletproof when personal battles flare. As the saga rolls on, all eyes are locked on how these two navigate the storm and whether they can climb out of the fray to reclaim their spots as adored industry heavyweight.
It's believing that people and humanity are inherently good. And they crave nutritious food in their soul, just as they do in their bodies.
This mess throws up some tough questions about the grind of fame and the Herculean task of keeping a spotless public face. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni aren't just performers. They're influencers, inspirations, and advocates who've staked their careers on ideals like compassion, understanding, and unity. Their social media brims with feel-good vibes, charity shout-outs, and peeks into their picture-perfect worlds. But this uproar yanks the veil aside, exposing the messy, human struggles lurking backstage. For years, both have been lauded not just for their skills, but for their knack for lighting up others. Lively, with her razor-sharp humor and down-to-earth appeal, has shown as a positivity powerhouse, often amplifying issues like women's rights and green living. Baldoni's carved a lane as a torchbearer for raw emotion and real manhood, wielding his projects to flip cultural scripts and spark deep talks. Together, they they've embodied the gold standard of today's celebrity, leveraging fame for good. But that polished glow might have piled on the strain that sparked this blowout. The non-stop demand to radiate cheers, stay flawless, and hide every crack can wear down even the toughest spirit. Beyond the glossy Instagram grids and gala grins lies a grittier truth, the juggle of private and public lives, the crush of constant eyes, and the dread of a slip-up that could undo decades of sweat. This saga screams that stardom doesn't armor anyone against personal battles. It often cranks them up. The same channels that link celebs to fans and causes also fling them into the crosshairs of critique. Every move, word, and flub gets picked apart live with zero margin for mess-ups. For Lively and Baldoni, whose livelihoods hinge on their personas, the risks tower higher. One stumble can blot out years of good vibes, flipping a quiet clash into a loud circus. It also lays bare the catch-22 of being a role model. Their devotion to kindness and empathy has won them love, but it hoists a bar few can clear. When they trip, as every human does, the snapback hits hard and fast. This mess forces a look at the crazy standards we slap on public figures, demanding saintliness while brushing off their mortal flaw. In the end, this is a red flag about fame's price tag and the shaky ground of public image. It's a nudge that even those dripping in riches, wins, and worship can wrestle with woes that spill out for all to see. For Lively and Baldoni, the path forward means wrestling with legal and career wreckage while patching up the faith and fondness they've toiled to earn. As watchers, it's a chance to chew on how we handle the stars we stand. Do we cut them slack to be human, screw up, and evolve? Or do we chain them to a sky-high pedestal primed to rip them apart at the first flaw? How we answer spills as much tea about us as it does about the icons we trail. With the courtroom drama still playing out, one big question hangs in the air. Can Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni patch things up behind closed doors, or is this feud doomed to keep exploding in the spotlight? Either way, this saga's already shifted how fans see these two. What's your take? Can they claw their way back from this, or is it a permanent dent in their legacies? Drop your thoughts below and hit like and subscribe for the latest on this unfolding tale.